Wake up and welcome to another episode here for the Funkit Pod. And you had to wait a while, but finally we're back. Another academic corner here in my green corner on the balcony, right after class, sharing a few things. As always, the academic corner is, I don't know, this my space of the week where I'll try to talk to someone, talk to you, with you, about what happened in academics, what happened in teaching, when you had to submit papers, whatnot. I think there's just not enough space for academics to exchange experiences, ideas, without any prejudices. Usually when we go to events or meetings where everyone tries to be perfect and saving face and all those things, right? It's like trying to show off, and I just want to have a safe space where we can just share ideas. Let's just be open-minded, right? And to actually prove a point here, this week I decided to talk about failures. Why this week? Because this week I did fail, and spectacularly, I might add. So if you followed my academic corner, or if you follow, I know, generally speaking, like tips and tricks in regards how to improve your teaching and so on. Also what we did with the innovative teaching scholars, powered by Stanford University, what I talked about before. They taught us to experiment with your teaching, to set up a hypothesis or just ideas and then flesh them out and then try them in the classroom, try something new, engage the students and so on. So I keep trying this over and over again, and mostly, if you follow my podcast or also my writings, when I write about it on Medium or now on Substack, you'll see like that very often I'm like excited. This week, it's more the opposite. But hey, bad news or good news, or at least like negative experimental outcomes are positive negatives are positive experimental outcomes, because hey, at least it's a result, right? So what did I try this week that spectacularly backfired? And now with a few days removed, I already tried to analyze why, and I think I'm learning something already. So what did I do? Well, I did a few things this week, but one thing, and I'll talk about a few of those things, but the one thing that backfired like crazy was the following. So I have this class with, in this case, so the topic doesn't really matter in this case, I think, but just for reference. So it's called Multicultural Communication. And the first class of the semester was on a holiday, so we had to cancel this class. So now I had to have what we call here in Thailand a makeup class, right? So a class that replaces the class that was canceled due to a holiday. Okay, so now those makeup classes, I don't like the term either, those makeup classes are usually scheduled in a way like I ask our staff, like, hey, when are our students still free, so then I can find a time slot to schedule the class which is most suitable for most students. At least that's what I do. I try to accommodate the students as much as possible, right? Okay, so they told me, well, only Tuesday morning usually. Then, okay, great. Then I had like a special, usually I have class on Tuesday afternoon anyways. This week I had to move the afternoon class to the morning because we had a collaboration with a university from Indonesia, and they only had time in the morning. So I asked my students, hey, please come in the morning. We can have a joint hybrid class with them. More on this in a second. And so I scheduled the makeup class in the afternoon, thinking that usually I have this, like, let's say 60% of the students that take this multicultural communication class also take my Tuesday class anyways, which is digital strategy. So 2/3 of the students from the multicultural communication class are usually in my Tuesday afternoon class anyway. So I scheduled the makeup class now for Tuesday afternoon, where they should be there anyways, and moved the Tuesday afternoon class to the morning. Then the rules at university are unfortunately in a way that if there's a makeup class, you can take attendance. Not that I would check attendance anyways, but you cannot enforce attendance because maybe students have other classes scheduled and so on. You can't have quizzes, so you also shouldn't do assignments and so on, right? So great. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? If I talk about like some hardcore theories in the makeup class, students who already have another class scheduled or whatever, they would feel unfairly treated, which is fair. So I thought, okay, I'm not going into hardcore theories. I will make it a tutorial session. Meaning, two things. A, you can ask me anything about any topic we discussed so far. We had 4 classes since I took over this class. So 4 different theories in regards to multicultural, or more theories, but 4 different topics in regards to multicultural communication. So ask me anything to clarify. We're coming close to the end of the semester, so ask me anything. And they have to work on a final paper. They have to do either a media research critique paper or like an identity research, an identity paper. And so I said, okay, well, you only have 2 weeks left to finalize that. So how about you work on that while you're in class, and then just ask me for feedback, clarification. I can help you brainstorm, figure out which theories to use, and so on. I thought I'm being nice. All right, so then the class comes around, right? Usually in class there should be 81 students. At max there were 15 students for that tutorial session. Maximum 15. And once, maybe let's say 20, but then once a few of them realized, oh, we don't even have to be here because they didn't pay attention. It was just announced on MS Teens makeup class, and then they just came, and as soon as they realized that I'm not teaching, but I'm there to answer questions, and they didn't have any questions, they just left. So a maximum of 15 students, maybe for like 30 minutes. Then a few students ask good questions, to be fair. A few, like 3 or 4, asked them. And once they thought it's all clear, they just left. In my head, I thought they're going to stay there, they're going to sit there, they're going to work on outlines, flesh it out a little bit, write their intro part, research some literature that they want to look into, ask me whether or not that literature makes sense, and so on. So that was my idea of how that session might go. After like 30, 45 minutes, the classroom was empty. I was like, yeah, all right, that worked very well. That worked very well. So now what did I learn from this? First of all, I mean, announcing that students don't have to be there might have been a mistake, but I tried to avoid disappointing or surprising them in this case, right? So that's why I announced, like, hey, it's a makeup class, so you don't have to be there, but I suggest you be there to actually use me being there and asking all the questions to make sure you're ready for your final paper. Then telling them that they can go whenever they want, when they feel ready, again, might not have been the best idea, but they are 4th-year students about to graduate. So I thought, well, I'm going to treat them like grown-ups, right? So you have 3 hours to sit there and to work and to ask me stuff. So if you don't want to use the 3 hours, all right. In my mind, I thought, okay, maybe they go after an hour, after 90 minutes or so, but they all left like after 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I could have made it stricter, obviously, but why, right? So I thought, treat them like grown-ups, let's see what happens. Clearly, didn't really work. I can't wait for them to hit the job market. Try. Oh God, it's going to be a disaster. Okay, then maybe I should have given them some more guidelines. So what I expect you to do today is checking off those points, like write an outline, write an intro, give me 5 pieces of literature that you wouldn't look into or something like this. Yeah, maybe I should have done that. Again, I thought 4th-year students, I thought they had classes on how to conduct research and how to write academic papers, so I thought they would just do that, but maybe I thought too much there. Maybe I should have given like a bit more of a guideline there. So that's my learning. Next time I will do this, I will have guidelines that they can follow and that they can like tick off. And maybe that's going to be easier for them then. And so see, I'm learning. So failure is also learning, right? So that's a good thing. Okay, so that was my big failure this week. This backfired spectacularly. Out of 81 students, like maybe 20 were there for the tutorial session. That was sad. And then in the contrary, I had a class the next day actually at a foreign university, that like a European university, and they have a campus here, and so I teach there digital marketing. And then I finished that class. And then, like European style, the students were clapping at the end of the lecture, or like knocking on the table. So like what's normal in more or less in Europe, at least I'm used to it too. We did it too for our profs, and I'm like, oh God, that's so nice. Oh, you make me feel so nice, so warm around my heart now. Oh, that's so cute. Thank you very much. Even if it was just being polite and not really excited, maybe, but it was really nice of them. It was like, because that's just showing a little bit of appreciation to your professor, right? It's like in Thailand, it's like we're just not coming. And then the European students are like, yeah, here, hey. So that was just nice to have for a second. It was really cool. All right, then, okay, since we are recapping this week, then as I mentioned earlier, like I had this Tuesday morning class, a hybrid class with our partner union Indonesia, shout out. And so they are still in online classes, so we are already offline, right? So now how do we make this work? So, okay, I said, okay, I send you MS Teams link. We will have a camera towards our students in class, in the classroom, and then we talk via MS Teams. I present stuff via slides and interact with the students. Whew, that was not that easy. That was not that easy, besides me forgetting to unmute the mic a few times. It was really, like, it's difficult to interact with students in the classroom and then turn around to the camera, like, hey, the camera was in my back and it couldn't move, unfortunately. We didn't have a wireless microphone. And then just interacting with, then asking a question to also into the camera, like, hey, in Thailand it's like this. What do you students say? And I turn to the camera. And in Indonesia, how do you think? So then I had two students actually. They helped me out by also logging into MS Teams and checking the chat while I was talking, checking what our friends from Indonesia were typing in the chat in the meantime, which was really helpful. So thanks to those students. Thanks for helping out there. It was appreciated. So it was not as easy as I thought it would be. It was in my head it also would have been smoother and they would have talked more rather than just chatting so that I can hear them via the speaker system and things like this. So that was also a bit difficult. Learning also should practice it more and don't expect people to just interact when you plan them to interact, obviously. So difficult there. We also planned a collaboration between our student teams, so let's see how that goes. I'm already curious to see how they communicate with each other. All right. Then, since I'm in recap mode right now, today I just had my last on-site class in one of my classes, Convergent Journalism, because next week the APEC Summit is here, and so the university said, if you want, you can move online because traffic is going to be ridiculous, like some roads going to be completely shut down. So next week, and the students, I asked them, they voted for online classes, surprise. So then this week I thought, okay, I'll do something a bit more special, not just a lecture, but make them do something a little bit more active again. And so I made them, they have the group, so 3 groups in this class, and then I gave them some research material, different material for each group. They had to do some background study there for like 30, 40 minutes. And then summarize it, wrap it up, present it to each other, and then use the information they got to then create in this case, a convergent storytelling framework. And then in the end now, so then we have 3 groups with 3 different frameworks based on their ideas. And now then the final assignment / homework right now is basically to then merge those frameworks and then submit their own convergent storytelling framework. So I'm waiting for this right now. Those active classes, it's really interesting because not usually, but sometimes the good students are usually the good students that like are good at studying stuff. They don't always do well in those active classes. Sometimes they don't understand why we're doing this. They're like, oh, you have to teach me stuff. Don't let me do things. And then whereas the students that usually then, sometimes then lose track during classes that are too academic because like, oh, it's so boring, another theory. Then in those active classes, they're really well active. They're really trying. They're figuring things out. And you just have to push them a little, move them in the right direction, and then you can see them actually also excelling, which is quite nice, actually. So I like to switch things up between, you need some academic lectures, of course, you need some background theories, principles, and so on, but then I also try to mix it up with active classes where students then actively actually create things, artifacts, whatever, interact with artifacts, create something that they see, hey, I created this framework today, that's so cool, that's what I did. And I understand it. It's cool. So that's what I tried today in this class. And I think it kind of worked, actually. Even like the students that are usually quiet did interact. One thing, however, that I did realize also in this class, and I'm going to realize it tomorrow too. Tomorrow will be Friday to the Thursday while I'm recording. So what I realized today and probably also will realize tomorrow is that end of semester blues, and especially in those classes, like this year I teach 3 4th-year classes. So they're almost graduating. So the 4th year and end of semester blues is real. So they're struggling right now. Their motivation is gone, and like I just want to get it over with. And I try to like motivate them a little, and in a joking manner, saying, "Hey, guys, let's not f up your good grades in the last 2 weeks of just because you don't feel motivated right now. Let's power through. Let's do this together. So I hope that at least I know connected with a few. I do understand it's been a long 4 years for them with 2 years of COVID in between. Obviously, you just wanted to be over with. But guys, if you're watching or listening, you're so close to the finish line. Don't F it up now. Like, don't be like, I don't care. Let's just get over it. No, you have worked so hard up until now. Let's finish strong. Seriously, don't throw it away. 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks max, and then you're set. So let's do this. Let's power through. And so that's what I also try to tell them today, and maybe we'll tell them again tomorrow. Because I sympathize, but just because I sympathize, I cannot just hand out A's to everybody, right? You still need to do the work. So I feel sympathy, but keep working. Those 2 or 3 more weeks, then we're done, and then we just party together. All right. I think that's enough for this week's Academic Corner. I still need some content for next week. I already know what I'm going to talk about with you next week. And as you can see, so many things happening right now. So I do hope that I will have guests soon. But right now, everybody's super busy with the end of semester and so on. So, but still working on that. If you want to be a guest, shout out. If you want to see something in particular, let me know. Working on that. Until then, as you know, stay safe, take care, and we'll see each other and talk soon. Saudi Cup.